Boo, I gotcha. Oh man, I'm awful at this. Since I was a wee lad, my grandmother has kept me pretty sheltered from a lot of things for various reasons, which also includes anything that was insanely graphic or anything that could be deemed too scary. And this also included music, such as rock, rap, metal, etc., or what she would perceive to put me on the wrong path. Sorry, Grandma, I have failed you, and I love you. And don't take this the wrong way, this isn't a dig at my grandmother. If anyone thinks that, I love that person to death. It's just how she perceived things. And I wish everyone is lucky enough to have a person like her in their lives. So since I was young, not being able to interact with anything as such, or anything remotely as such, to a little down the road in life, kind of made my small and tiny brain very curious as to why these things were deemed too bad to be seen, read, listened to, etc. At all, for me at least. Then some amazing link that altered my brain's chemistry happened. I came across a book called Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And I'm talking about the books, not the movies. I am not that young anymore, and I still wish I was, because Lord have mercy, being an adult sucks. Coming across this as my first real showcase of horror, and it petrified me. But at the same time, I couldn't put down what I was looking at. I really don't know how I was feeling at the time because it's been a good while now. I just know what I was reading and looking at opened something in my brain that I didn't think would happen. It definitely made me more curious of what else is out there, but our elementary school and middle school only carried scary stories to tell in the dark. So there was only so much that that book could do for me. Then another event happened in high school that further opened my brain and ruined it. But before I explain that situation, I want to say this. I was, and still am, a very big scaredy cat. And it is something that will probably never change no matter how long I live for. So, context given, I snuck in to a movie theater with a cousin of mine to see the one and only Sinister. This isn't going to be some review of the movie because I haven't actually watched it in a while. And plus, I would give you the worst review possible because half of it would be me hiding behind my own t-shirt or my blanket and watching it between my fingers here and there. And to give a little bit more context, in case no one has ever seen Sinister or know about Sinister at all, there has been a study about not just this movie but horror movies in general, and it was basically rated the first or number one as one of the scariest movies. But it's based off a lot of different metrics like heartbeats per minute, stuff like that, like sweats, I think. I don't really remember the exact thing. I'm gonna leave the article in the description if you want to read it, because it takes a lot of external and internal features to really base that number off of. However, even given that context, I still believe, like a good handful of things in life, that it's very subjective, because how I perceive horror may not be how you perceive horror or the person next to you perceives horror. For me personally, Sinister has stuck with me a very long time because of how scared I was and how scared it made me. But if you go watch it, I can't guarantee it will give you that same satisfaction or feeling. Now, with all of that context given, I want you to imagine me at this point. The most graphic thing I've probably seen is, or up to this point, is basically the scary stories told in the dark. And maybe a few animated online scary stories on YouTube here and there. Nothing crazy. Oh, and then also like a Mortal Kombat fatality. Basically, that's like the most extent at this period of time that I've seen horror, gore, all that fun stuff wise. So mix in with me being squeamish and scaredy cat, Sinister has stayed with me till this day, since I saw it release weekend. Especially that lawnmower scene. I can still tell you the exact sounds that happened during that scene because of how petrifying it is and how horrid it is. And it still, in my opinion, is one of the most, I wouldn't say scariest scenes I've seen, but it's definitely one of the most memorable just because of everything that's happening in that particular scene. And as much as it did traumatize me and still has kind of traumatized me, it definitely opened me up more to the idea of what's out there horror-wise. And before I really go deeper into this video, I kind of want to take a little break here because I feel like there's a chance this video is going to reach an audience that necessarily doesn't watch my type of videos. This is something new that I'm trying out. Not really new, but just a thought piece I wanted to put out there. But if you like what you're seeing, you're more than welcome to stay and enjoy the ride with me. And I appreciate you if you do. Now back to my yapping about games, anime, manga, all that stuff. Now jump forward to today. I am not vested in horror like a lot of people are, nor have I really experienced a ton from the point of me watching Sinister. Like, I've most definitely watched and played some games here and there that have opened my mind to a lot that's out there. And a lot of reasons why I'm still, or not necessarily still, trying to get into horror, but a big reason why I've been more enthusiastic about horror, more open-minded, is because of my younger sister. She absolutely loves the stuff, and it's my personal thing of like trying to spend time with her. So it's helped me really get into horror while at the same time helping her explore what she really likes. Even though she is a lot more open about it, she actually loves it a lot. When there's scenes where I'm squeamish, she seems to take it like a champ. So yeah, I'm the older, scary cat brother, I guess. So the big question is here, why does something that has seemed to do nothing but make me scream and damn near have a heart attack, why does it interest me, and why do I feel so invested in it? And if you ask a psychologist, they would probably say it's because it was kept away from me at a very young age, and my brain was very curious about said subject matter. And they would probably be right. But it comes to me truly believing that horror has some of the most unique and almost endless possibilities of what it can do. What I mean by this, it kind of goes back to basically the scary stories told in the dark. Those designs are horrifying, and still hold up, in my personal opinion, to this day, as being some of the most out of their designs that I've seen for the most part. For me, how I see it, and how I still see it, is that horror, you're able to express yourself or even draw some of the most craziest things that you can think of, and it has always piqued my interest. For me, some of my favorite artwork that I've ever seen, liked, or bought has personally been horror related. Not only because a lot of these artists are so talented and gifted that makes me jealous, I wish I could do what you do, but you kind of tap into the realm of, how should I put this? It taps into the realm of like endless possibilities. Like some of the craziest things you could think of, it can come to life given to the right person. Or some of the most out of their thing can be brought to life. It's insane. And these people make it look so cool and amazing. And like I said, I'm just really jealous that some of y'all this talented. I wish I had some of it. And between and going hand in hand with the designs themselves is actually the stories that horror is able to tell. Because for me personally, between horror, sci-fi, and fantasy, I think the way you can portray those stories are near endless. For horror, for example, I think like you can go from a normal killer story, you know, slasher, whatever you want to do. You can go from that to something that's, I don't know, space themed, like Alien or Predator, stuff like that. Or something very scary, that's something in the ocean or something that lives underground. Like, the possibilities for horror are dang near endless because there's so many things that you can do with it. Yeah, the themes like sci-fi may be reused, but the concept behind the story that you're going to imply with it is damn near endless. And this kind of, like, if you really want to see how horror stories go, you can look at here, like on YouTube, of analog horrors and stuff like that. There's so many crazy but unique stories that are being shown to us, for free mind you, that are wonderful and so well put together. Like, look at Greylock, for example. If you haven't watched anything from it, I highly suggest it. It's one of my favorite analog horrors right now. And I'm definitely not going to say much here. But the concept of it is just something else. It is just something that I wouldn't have fathomed in a million years of thinking of. but someone did. They took that idea and made it a story that is so unique and gripping that is actually insane. You can even look at Vita Carnus, because again, it's something that, in my personal opinion, it's something that you could think of, but the way it's being done by these talented people behind the scenes is astonishing. It really gives horror a very good image when you got these talented people making these sort of production things out there, especially for free on YouTube. Of course, you can subscribe to like Patreons and stuff like that to like get early access, but like for the most part, you know, these people do it for free and it's so wonderful. And this whole thing, I haven't even touched on one of my favorite things, is just video games. And I haven't even talked about that yet, and that's probably a good thing and a very bad thing, personally, because the first real horror game I really experienced was Dead Space 2. Yeah, a really good starting point, right? Not only skipping the first game, but just jumping basically right into the action of the second one. I still remember the near heart attacks that happened to me a handful of times that really sent me into shock while playing Dead Space 2. Now, for the most part, horror games is something that I'm probably still very, very far out from ever catching up on, and may never catch up on, because it's insane how many games are out there for horror related. Like, look at Silent Hill 2's remake. It looks good. I'm probably going to play it because it looks amazing and it seems really amazing. But I have no idea what happens because I never played the first one, nor have I ever played the original Silent Hill 2. Because I never had the opportunity to do so. Even the Resident Evil games. I have, at this particular time of recording, I've only played 7 and 8, and nothing else in between. And as you can tell, my dyslexia is very bad because for some reason I keep playing these games extremely out of order for whatever reason. But Resident Evil, just from those two games alone, I am so interested in the Resident Evil universe and what's going on there. And I really, really want to get into them. And like I said, horror is basically, in my personal opinion, feels like an endless supply of possibilities. And also, I completely understand why people may hold a grudge. Like I've been saying, basically horror has an almost endless supply of possibilities. It's unique. It's very fun, even though I nearly, do a number 2 of myself when certain things happen. But I think the reason why it holds such a good grudge over me, or why I seem to be so invested and interested in horror, was originally I thought it was because of how I was particularly raised. Because it was kept away from me. Basically, I couldn't have it. Why can't I have it? I found out why, and I want to catch up on it. That's why I'm so interested in it. But then I started thinking about it a little bit more. I went back to my Resident 8 Village stream that I did a while back, when I could actually stream things in my free time. And as much as I was scared of what was going through at the time, it's honestly one of the most funnest times I've had gaming in a while. Yes, that's because Resident Evil 8 is actually a good game, but the rush I had while playing it and trying to figure out all these puzzles and trying to figure out the real plot behind the stories, it was a fun and good time for me. And at its core, it kind of made me realize that personally, I believe horror takes the things we least think about, or things that we try to put in the back of our mind, and turns them into life, basically. It's like a bad accident you shouldn't look at, but that subconscious inside you makes you look at it over, or that subconscious thing inside you makes you look over at it. And of course, don't get it twisted, I don't want harm to ever occur to anyone. I'm just using this as an analogy. And it's the only one I can really think of at the moment. Also, you could take this video as me saying curiosity killed the bird, and it has sent me down a hole that I seem to never come back from, and probably never will come back from. I'm invested in horror because of basically everything I've mentioned, and I've been invested for a little while now. Also, this could be used as me saying I probably will touch base, possibly, on horror content down the road. Basically, mainly around games and stuff like that. Nothing analog related or anything like that. But game-wise, I'm probably going to be more open to it because, again, they're very fun. And I enjoy them a lot from the little bit of the horror games I've played. But who really knows? I can't tell you what tomorrow brings me, nor I can tell you how the end of my day will bring me. This is just me yapping. Thank you everyone for coming to my TED Talks. You can bill your therapist on my behalf. If you want to discuss anything below, please feel free to do so. Please take care, stay hydrated, take care of yourself, you deserve it. And on to the next one, we resume our normal or somewhat normal broadcasting. I'm out. Take care.